I'm late with the news break today. I hope that all of you can forgive me for this dereliction of duty. However, we were speaking with Shaka Mitchell of the American Federation for Children about school choice, about how the ESA, that's Educational Savings Account, is now at the Supreme Court and that they hope to get a ruling on that soon. And you can see that interview with Shaka Mitchell. It's going to come out hopefully tomorrow if Jason can get that puppy processed, and it's going to be a good interview. I mean, we need school choice here in Tennessee, and we need Republicans and conservatives to get behind school choice so that um, we can do a little bit better than 1 out of 3 children reading at grade level. So Shaka was kind enough to come on and do an interview with me, and that will be posted just as soon as we can get it there. This is the Tennessee Conservative News Break. If it's your first time tuning in, I'm glad to have you here. It froze. Edward said it froze. It may have something to do with the storm, Ed. I don't know. I'm trying to get this done before the power goes off again. I'm here bunkered down in my office. So if you see things crashing around me, or if terrible winds, sheer winds, if they come through here, then you'll know something's happened to me. You can send the money to my widow. Brandon Lewis, Tennessee Conservative News Break. If you have not subscribed to our email newsletter, it's TennesseeConservativeNews.com. You can go there, and we do send the top headlines every day around 11:30, 12 o'clock, and you can read more in-depth stories. I'm going to hit the highlights today, but there are more in-depth stories over there. And if you go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support or hit that red button on the homepage and give the amount, we will send you to proud Tennessee conservative bumper stickers and a directory of all state and local officials. If you give $50 or more, you will have this fantastic proud Tennessee conservative tumbler sent to your house, and we will put nothing in here but everything that goes in. If you put water in here, it comes out wine. It really does. Well, at least it holds wine at my house. That's all I know. All right, let's get into the headlines. Hey, Ramona, thank you for joining us. Glad you're here. Floyd from DeKalb County, Tennessee. Welcome, Floyd. Glad you're here at the program, buddy. Hey, guys, share this puppy when it's done. I don't know if you can share it while it's running, but if you're watching this, if you enjoy it, please do that. And it looks like Jason has hopped in here. He's running the Tennessee conservative side over there. Jason, thank you for watching. But you're employed here, so that's kind of probably part of the gig. But hey, I'll take what I can get here. Okay. So, first headline at the state level, and that is that Tennessee House bill seeks exclusion of LGBTQ. Could we have another acronym? I would like another sexual orientation acronym. This is just not long enough. Lifestyle textbooks from curriculum. House Bill 800 says that Tennessee public schools should focus student attention on academic curricula critical for student success, such as reading, science, and mathematics. Yeah, let's do that first. That's a novel idea. We have to pass a bill for this. Yes, that's the state of public education. Again, when this interview with Shaka Mitchell comes out, you'll be amazed at the things we have to pass here in Tennessee. Apparently, just to get people to read and write. So, at any rate, moving on. Materials that are essential to student success but promote, normalize, support, or support controversial issues and promotion of LGBTQ issues and lifestyle should be subject to the same restrictions and limitations placed on teaching of religion in public schools. Addressing such issues in education is said to offend significant portions of students, parents, and the wider body of Tennessee residents who hold Christian values. And I absolutely agree. I would not say that we shelter our 2 little girls. I've got one that's turned 9 yesterday. Happy birthday to my beautiful, sweet little angel. And I have a 2-year-old as well. And even when you're watching cartoons, which I love cartoons, I watch old cartoons with my kids. You never know when they're going to try to sneak something in there, and especially new cartoons. And when there's a time and a place for kids to learn about the world, but I think I'm going to let them hold off. I want them to learn to read, to write. I want them to learn about the Bible and what God says about how they should lead their lives, and then at some point, and when things go on, I'm sure at some point we'll have to address it. But I don't need the school putting it into libraries or wherever. That's just my personal opinion. So I'm glad that they're passing this bill. I think that is a job for parents. While the present laws do not prohibit use of instructional materials, this bill would add the commissions are prohibited from recommending or listing books, materials that promote, normalize, support, or address LGBTQ. There's bound to be another one here shortly. I think there probably is already. Lifestyle. State boards cannot approve adoption or grant waivers for these materials. Thank goodness. This bill may increase local educational expenditure if institutions are required to replace any existing materials, and it would take effect July 1st, 2021, and apply to the 2021 to 2022 school year. But who cares? Because the kids ain't in school in many places. They're not going to get to read these books anyway. They'd have to put it up on a screen because the teachers' unions are more worried about themselves than teaching our kids, or making sure that parents can hold down jobs. We've not been worried about that all year in Tennessee because it's all about the kids, right? Always all about the kids. Next story. House Republicans push legislation forward to protect first responders. State Representative Brian Terry and Charlie Baum of Murfreesboro announced the creation of the First Responders Safety Act. Back in October of 2022, the initiative was to introduce for consideration in the 2021 General Assembly. Another bill adding more protection for first responders is scheduled for today. That's today. And House Bill 511, introduced by Representative Ron Gant of Rossville, would increase the penalty for the murder of an on-duty first responder in an act of terrorism. If an individual is found guilty, the sentence would be either death, the death penalty, or life in prison without parole. Usually the death penalty is the same thing as life in prison, because by the time they get around to it, it might as well be just life in prison. The amendments add specific language under the definitions of terrorism to increase protection for enforcement officers, correction officers, etc. I agree with that. I agree with the death penalty for murdering anyone. I'm just going to go on record there. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. At least I'm glad there's grace out there for folks. Otherwise, we would have never heard from Paul in the New Testament. But I think that's a good law. There's a difference between the way Christians should view the acts of others and the way God views them, and of course the way that the law views them. The law in common practice can view these things differently, and I think that's perfectly okay. That's a good one. Tennessee Titans to keep 50% of East Bank sales tax revenue under proposed bill amendment. I'm going to tell you something in full disclosure. If you don't know this about me, and if you've been following this, I don't know anything about sports. I think I watch like half a football game a year, because I go to a lake trip with some of my dear friends, fraternity brothers, and they make me watch football, which I prefer not to watch. So if you ever ask me about sports news, I'm going to come up empty. The Tennessee Senate Subcommittee has thrown its support behind allowing Tennessee Titans to keep sales tax purchases in the Nissan Stadium to retain 50% of the revenue of a proposed East Bank development of its 130-acre plot. Jack Johnson, Representative Franklin, introduced an amendment to Senate Bill 1543 on Tuesday to provide background on the agreement to the Finance, Ways, and Means Subcommittee. Johnson said the 30-year-old stadium sales tax agreement with the Titans is similar to those in place in NBA's, Memphis Grizzlies, NHL's Nashville Predators. Johnson said Governor Billy supports the amendment and plans to fund it in the state's amendment. Senator Todd Gardenhire from Chattanooga said, I look at professional sports teams and they pay their players hundreds of millions of dollars, and yet they want us to subsidize all of the things they do. I'm at a point in my life where I want to say enough is enough. Now, I never thought I'd say this because Todd and I have not been on the same page about a lot of things here recently, in some respects, school choice being one of those. But I agree with him with this. I wish that they would not pick winners and losers and not do this crony capitalism crap where some people have some kind of special deal and other people have this. I'm a small business owner. Nobody's walked into my office and said, hey, buddy, hey, would you like some kind of tax break? Would you like some kind of deal? You've employed some people over the years. How would that work? Can we hand you some money? Nobody's ever done that for small businesses, but we do it for Hollywood handouts. We do it for athletic teams. It's funny. We give money to corporations like Amazon and Volkswagen here in Chattanooga. and other places. And it's like the people who need the money the least, our politicians are like just running to give it to them. And I think that treating small businesses differently than big businesses is a bad idea. Walter, thank you for joining us here. Hello from Carroll County. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Walter. I appreciate that. Floyd, thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Michael Jordan, I was wondering where you were. Hello from Warren County. I'm glad you're listening all the way out there in Warren County. That's great. Let's move on to the national news stories, okay? Biden touts America Rescue Plan. It's just funny. It's just funny. The title is funny. And Affordable Care Act, because that worked great at Ohio State University. As President Joe Biden made his first visit to Ohio, I wonder if he knew what state he was in. I mean, he's in a state of confusion, but I wonder if he knew what state he was in, like in the Union. Joe Biden made his first visit to Ohio since taking office Tuesday. He was criticized for what one policy group called unnecessary spending. Really? Biden said that there are three key parts to ARP. First, we're going to get vaccines out more rapidly to every American, because God knows everything's about safety now, right? Safety, safety, safety. We forgot about liberty and freedom, even in the state of Tennessee. We've forgotten about liberty and freedom. Even at the State House, we forgot about liberty and freedom. In the governor's mansion, we forget about it. It's all about safety right now. There's a second important piece of the plan, and it brings relief to a population that is badly hurting. Biden said that it's America's patriotic duty to be vaccinated for COVID-19. Well, Joe, I guess I'm just not a patriot. I caught COVID the old-fashioned way, and I got over it the old-fashioned way, and I assume that I have immunity that is as good as a vaccine, and I'll just stick with that, pal, if it's okay with you. So call me unpatriotic. I think being unpatriotic is not protecting your borders. I think it's being weak toward China. I think it's probably ending life in the womb. I think it's keeping kids mired in educational systems that don't work. I think it's breaking up the American family. That's what I think is unpatriotic, Joe. Third and foremost, it's going to give every American $1,400. So I think they took out. This is not accurate. Like it was like $14,000 that they borrowed for every taxpayer, and they give back $1,400 to the taxpayer. That is a great deal. That is a great deal. Ray S. Herman Jr. from the Buckeye Institute said, today Joe Biden comes to Ohio not to tout just the latest unnecessary spending bill, but also the Affordable Care Act, one-size-fits-all solution that fails to address the state's unique challenges and needs, and they only lead to higher taxes, unique challenges and needs. And I agree with that. The results here will also harm Ohioans by increasing costs for Medicaid to unsubstantiated levels and discouraging work, which will make it harder for Medicaid enrollees to re-enroll in the workforce and private business. I'll tell you what, I'm a small business owner, as I've told y'all, and under the Affordable Care Act, and I have a lot of my friends, somehow, some way, I surrounded myself with small business owners as friends, almost all of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, and all of our insurance just tripled, in some cases quadrupled overnight. And that's what the Affordable Care Act did for me and my family. Aaron, exactly right. Yeah, I agree with you, buddy. Are you a small business owner? If you are, then you know what I mean. It didn't do it. We went on Medishare. Hopefully, maybe they'll try to advertise over here. I would pimp myself out from an advertising standpoint for Medishare, because it's been great. And if you need something like that, I'd take a look at them. Local stories. Moving along to local stories. Chattanooga taxpayers could get $690,000 a bill for Juneteenth, day off for city workers. That's what we need to be focused on over there at City Hall in Chattanooga, Tennessee, is a $690,000 single day vacation expenditure. I kid you not. And strategic planning, this sounds like a strategic planning issue, right? Let's give people some days off, and $700,000 is the bill. The city council discussed, excuse me, discussed adding Juneteenth as a holiday for city employees and the budgetary implications thereof. District 9 City Council member Demetrius Coonrod, I hope I'm saying that right, we celebrate July 4th as an Independence Day, but it's not an Independence Day that's inclusive of all Americans. Okay, do you live in America? Do you have independence? Was this not the greatest country ever founded? And are you not living in the lap of luxury compared to every other country on the face of the freaking earth? I'd say that's pretty much for everybody, Coonrod. I don't know. I could be wrong. It only gave us independence from Britain, but at the time, slavery was still going on. When we take a look at the list of holidays we already celebrate, the city holidays, they're inclusive to all people. Well, I think American independence, if you're American citizen, is about as inclusive as it gets. Juneteenth is inclusive to everybody. Really? How? I mean, how? I don't. How? How so? I don't know. It's about reclaiming our history, rejoicing in the progress we've made, and recommitting to the work yet undone. I love it when people string meaningless sentences together. That is just my favorite thing to read here on this program, and I just did it. I'm sorry I wasted about 30 seconds of your life. District 1 Councilmember Chip Steele, or Councilmember Chip stated, uh, we're talking around $690,000 if we add this holiday. I think we need to have a discussion about how we spend $690,000, particularly when we're talking about addressing the salaries of our employees. City Attorney Phil Noblet said that the budget amendment requires a roughly 30-day public notice and approval and is asked to begin the process for the budget amendment. Embarrassing. Embarrassing that in a time when revenues are uncertain, that at a time when families are struggling across Tennessee and in Hamilton County in particular, that have made unemployable because of the mismanagement of the pandemic with fear mongering, businesses shut down that were open for decades, people who have lost jobs, folks watching gas prices go up, and always mumbling about property taxes. And the best thing that we can do in our strategic planning meeting is spend $690,000 to give city workers a day off. Man, that's good. That's good leadership, buddy. Don't worry about the potholes. Don't worry about the shootings. Don't worry about the homeless camped out all over town. Don't worry about the trash. We need a paid day off. Strategic. That's good stuff. Brandon Lewis here. Those are your news headlines for the 25th day of March. If you like what we do here, go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com, sign up for that newsletter, click that support button. I don't care if you give me $5, just $5. We need every dollar we can get because we run on support. We'll send you 2 proud Tennessee conservative bumper stickers. I hand sign every letter that goes out, try to put a note on that puppy, and I'm thankful for every bit of support that we get from people like you. Forward this around to your conservative friends. If you are in a Republican or a conservative group on Facebook, or if you go attend meetings, let people know about our publication, because for every subscriber that you help us find, we don't have to spend the money to go find them. And we're trying to reach every conservative in the state of Tennessee. And with your help, I know we will. Brandon Lewis with Tennessee Conservative News. Be safe, be careful out there tonight. Listen for those weather alerts. We do have severe weather rolling through the area, and I don't want to lose a subscriber to poor weather. Okay, I don't want to lose a subscriber because you weren't paying attention and you're driving around in the storm or something. Okay, so let's all stay safe out there during this inclement weather, and I'll see you back here tomorrow about 12 o'clock. I'll try to be on time tomorrow. I'm sorry I was a little tardy, but you're going to love that interview with Shaka Mitchell. It'll come out tomorrow. Brandon Lewis with the Tennessee Conservative News Report. Talk to you next time.